Okay, watch me start voiceovering this video and get cut off by my own self talking. Three, two, one.
Okay, so we just got our package of suspiciously unmarked spatulas that don't even have anything and they're stapled together. They're probably gonna give us cancer and we're gonna die, but they were cheap and they were blue, so this itty bitty, teeny weeny, cat size camera. There's a spatula.
So, my family likes to make fun of how I say magazine, which in my head sounds normal, but in hearing it back probably sounds funny. It's some kind of Midwestern, Michigan-y. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I assume it's from my family, but watching the stupid playback made me realize I say camera the same way. Ugh. Here's me loudly getting water. So what it started out as is one of those things where I was like, I love watching people going about their day. I always have some YouTube playing in the background. And it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I bet I could do that. Not that I thought it was easy, but I just felt like I was capable of doing it. There's my podcast. I love this podcast. This is my number one podcast. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I was like, you know what? I bet I could do this. How hard could it be? It's way harder than I thought. Here's me writing notes because I have lists of everything and my lists have lists, and otherwise I will get totally derailed with 100 things that I was going to do. Okay, so we're like 2 minutes into this and I still haven't gotten to the main point. So I thought I should do this because that would be fun because I like to hear myself talk and someone could put me in the background and I don't know. I overshare on close friends Instagram anyway, so why don't I just put it here so only people who voluntarily and willingly want to listen to me yammer can do so. And also, this was originally a challenge for the spawn-in-law, who I have not yet asked if I can say his name, so I'm not going to say his name, uh, because he has, like 500 followers. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm more popular than you and probably vastly more likable. And I bet I could get more followers than you. So here I'm going to go start this channel from scratch on a topic that totally deviates from the target audience of my usual Instagram content. And you know what? I bet I'm going to get, you know, easy 5 followers. I mean, I already have 5 followers, which is pretty big, but 4 of them are related to me. And one of them is just guilty by association. And so, yeah. So the gauntlet has been thrown, Spawn-in-Law. Where you at? Bring your followers at me. I'm I've just been doing this way longer than you, and I feel like you just don't know what you've stepped into. And plus, I had to do this now because we're all about to go on a vacation, and how am I going to gloat and make him feel terrible and small and insignificant if I don't even have any videos up, you know? So it's just more a matter of principle. There's me climbing on my counter because the short struggle is real, and you should see that that's how I have to get around, right next to the open flame. And I just realized I didn't narrate anything that I was doing. This is this is crazy, y'all. You should try and do it sometime. It'll just make you feel super dumb. You know what else I've decided that I really don't like about vlogging? And I'm sure it's a totally fixable thing, but in both watching the recording, oh, there's Han. Han is doing quality control on the dirty dish placement. We love that guy. Okay, So what I've decided I don't like is how loudly I breathe. You would think I was a mouth breather, and I'm not, but it sounds like I am because both the camera, which I mean, it has good audio, but it's not like incredible audio. I wasn't wearing a mic when I was walking around with it. But everywhere I go, you could freaking hear me breathe. And now that I'm listening to this stupid voiceover again, you can hear me breathing some more. The other thing I'm learning is that you should probably have your thoughts already pre-laid out before you hit the voiceover button because you'll get derailed as one does. And then you'll think, hey, I had all these things that I was going to say, and now they're all gone, and I can't think of a single one. And again, the dumbness of my image is shot here. No, we all know I'm dumb. Um, that was dishes, I think. I hate dishes. I wish dishes didn't exist. If I could pay someone to do the dishes for me, I would. Well, that would be if I had the money to pay someone to do chores I don't want to do. This is me making water for my hummingbirds because we've been doing this for years. We have lots of hummingbirds that come every year, and yet it wasn't until I think last summer that I read if the water sits out there too long, this like bacteria or something gets into it that can actually kill them. So I may have been inadvertently destroying my backyard hummingbird. Uh, okay, I gotta say this. I do sound dumb on this, but also when you're doing the voiceover, it kind of echoes back into your ear at a delay and it really throws off your brain. So if I sound just, at least two times stupider than I usually do, that's the reason. But anyway, hummingbirds, if I could say the word correctly, they could get sick from this. So I don't know because we've always just left the sugar out until they drink it all. And maybe that was no good for them. So I'm trying to dump it out and replace it at a faster pace. Oh, wait, here's a spider. I recorded this for Spawn in Law because he loves bugs and he wishes he could collect them. And I can't remember the word for scientists that love bugs, but I'm pretty sure he wants to be one. And I'm saving this for him for the next time he comes over because I'm pretty sure he wants a pet. These are lemons that grow with pretty much zero assistance from me. Here's this Japanese plant that I've forgotten the name of, and I know the leaves don't need to be watered, but guess what? It gets really dusty back here and it bugs me because I don't think it looks pretty when there's dust on the leaves. So I'm watering the whole thing. And these are my strawberries. I have such terrible luck with strawberries because either something eats them or they just die. These ones are kind of, they're like hanging in there. There's one flower. I hope it turns into a berry. See, this strawberry grew from something I planted like 5 years ago, and every year the plant pops up, but it never flowers. So I dug it up and I move it into this pot, and I'm hoping it does something, but it kind of looks like it's just dying. And these are tomatoes. I also don't know how this plant got here because the last time I had tomatoes was probably 5 years ago, and all of a sudden this summer it sprouted there. So I'm hoping it lives. I don't know if a bird dropped a seed, if I'm just a miracle grower. I don't know. These are my blackberries. This plant grows wildly out of control and goes over the neighbor's yard, and I have to hack it down, and no one ever can eat these berries fast enough. But I think icky creatures come if I don't pick the berries, and I don't want icky creatures. There's Han again. He's so cute. Look at him. So yeah, I try to pick the berries. Oh, another podcast. Love that. This is my fountain from at home that I love. It's super cheap, but it grows algae and that annoys me, so that I have to scrape it off. Oh, here's spawn one. she is opening that itty bitty camera that she wanted because she's an aesthetic girly and she likes little miniature things that take really low quality photos. I was like, your phone probably does a way better job. Oh, Spawn 2 showing me his K-pop Fortnite dances because who doesn't love K-pop and Fortnite? I don't understand how they pick their collabs, but I guess they know how to get to their audience because my sons get the stuff. So we're circling back around. I finally finished the hummingbird water, pouring it in. It bugs me that it's not full. Something about that just sits not well with my brain, but again, we don't want to hurt the hummingbird, so we'll just do a little at a time. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic with my hand. I talk with my hands, drives my kids crazy. I bet they could tell you exactly what hand motion I just did that hit the mic. Oh, there it is. And now we gotta wash it. And these things are super, super annoying to wash because they've got all these little pieces that gunk gets in. But you know what? I think if we do smaller batches and it's not sitting out there so long, it won't get as gunky and nasty. That's my hope. And I just thought of another thing that I was going to talk about because I was making this and I was trying to decide, am I going to download music and upload the copyright thing? Am I just going to have no music? I want to do no music because the whole point is to listen to me yammer. So who cares about music? And I'm not doing anything that is beautiful, living alone in Seoul, K-vlog, going through a field, I'm washing dishes. It doesn't need music. But I did tell my most loyalist alumni follower, Trake, you know what, Trake, I bet you would be incredible at making digital music, and you should for sure immediately learn how to make digital music so that you can make me an intro. We love you, Trick Up. You're a genius. There's Han again. Look at his little face. Here's me wiping down my table. I love this table. It's from IKEA. We had to get it because Spawn-in-Law was over a lot, and my previous table was too small and couldn't fit us all well. So here it is. But I constantly have to wipe it down. That's another thing that I don't love. What am I doing in the background? Oh, I remember because I bought two mini cameras, one for Spawn 1, one for Spawn 2, and I gave Spawn 2 the white one because he was home first, and then I remembered once Spawn 2 came home that I got a blue one also, and she wasn't going to want that because she is an aesthetic girly and she wants white. So I told him, I told her, ask him if you can switch with him. And he did because he's a good brother. But then I had to put the keychain back on. That's what I was doing. And now I'm back to straightening my chairs obsessively. I straighten those bar stools, at least 3,000 times a day because my kids like spin them around. I mean, they are spinning chairs. They are using them the way they're supposed to be functioning. However, it makes me nuts because then they're all at different angles. I know. I'm such a hassle to live with. They're going to be so happy when they move out and they don't have to deal with my brain chemistry spiciness and my oddities. Oh, here's a baby skink that lives under my yard waste trash can. And I was trying really hard to get the camera to look down at him, but the gimbal does not like looking down, so I was forcing it. There he is. I'm pretty sure his dad used to live over there because there used to be a really big one, and now there's a baby one. Here's my beautiful pomegranate. I think it's the only one. There's flowers, but I don't think any of them have fruit. This is me cleaning the ping pong table because we used it for a party and then I forgot to put it away for 2 days, so we got all sorts of dust and gunk and whatever, so I'm cleaning it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my kids will be so happy to move out and not have to deal with me. And sometimes I fantasize like, is my house going to be the cleanest? Am I going to just be at maximum peace level once they move out and I'm only cleaning up after two people and some pets? I don't know though. I can make a mess of my own if left alone long enough. Okay, here's a battery because my car has been having trouble starting. So my husband told me, go to Costco and you need to buy a new battery. So I went to Costco and I bought it, and the guy was like, do you want to get a basket? Because it's really heavy. And I looked at the size of it. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just carry it. Guys, it's so heavy. So when I got home, he was telling me, you know, that battery is like 60 pounds. I believe it because I just barely made it from the Costco Tire Center to my trunk without dropping it and breaking all my toes. I was almost getting out of breath. I was like, holy crap. I am out of shape, I know, but this is like way worse than I thought. But turns out it's just the world's heaviest box of poisonous material. He's doing all the work to take this out. Look, it was so easy, guys. Teamwork. Like, who are we? We could just do all the mechanic work for ourselves. Has to go way your side, all the way to the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But then is it gonna hit that? Me. Ooh.
It was stuck on the thing.
Okay.
So you could probably tell from this 2-second clip which one of us like does things precisely and carefully and measures and researches and looked up YouTube of how to replace this battery, and one of us just kind of strong arms things and forces things into spots. That sounded naughtier than it should be. Anyway, and yeah, so one of us is not careful and one of us is very careful. I mean, clearly, I'm the careful one. I can't tell when I'm going to start talking, so I'm waiting because the first time I talked over myself, I think it's coming up. Oh, here it is. Instructions for installation. Maybe you should have read this little book.
Man, I gotta tell you.
Step by step. Secure new battery in vehicle using hold down. If your vehicle battery has a venting system, you'll have to use the plug attached to the positive terminal cover to complete the safe installation of the battery. Vehicles without battery vents go to step 6. Step 6 is install electrical cables. It's easy, really, if you just would have
Obviously.
read this little book. Okay, so in case you haven't gotten the clue, this was not easy, and we were joking about how we were going to edit this to make it look like it was easy when it wasn't. But that is also the issue of dealing with a perfectionist who does things right and cleans everything off and, does a specific order where first of all, I wouldn't have never, blah, 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 I can't talk, wouldn't have ever done this by myself. But, if I was the last survivor of a zombie apocalypse and I had to figure it out myself, I wouldn't have done it carefully. I would have kind of done it willy-nilly and been like, that looks right. So yeah, when he pulls out a battery, he's trying to be careful. He's trying not to smash these wires, all those things. I'm probably just gonna brute force and yank something out and then be like, why do I have an extra screw? What did this go to? I don't remember because I wasn't paying attention. I've had to listen to a couple of these segments over again because I didn't time them right, because I have to look away from the screen because the echo is so distracting. I'm going to have to go Google and see how people handle this. If it's just my playback or my headphones, I don't know. But I have to kind of stare at a wall or stare out the window while I'm talking, so that I don't get distracted and sound even more moronic. However, then I'm not paying attention to what's on the screen, so then I keep talking over. Anyway, long story short, I keep having to listen. Blah, blah, blah. See, there it goes again. I keep having to listen to these voiceovers, and I've discovered that I say a lot of words that have A's in them in the manner that makes my family make fun of me. I don't know why that is, because I don't think my parents say it like that. Why do I say it like that? I don't know. I think I've got an amalgamation of so many different location accents, and I'm just my own kind of weird on top of that, so I just talk funny. And this is all coming to light because of this vlog. Lights up. That's a good sign. Okay, so this is the BTS. This is how long we struggled, and this is sped up. This is how long we struggled trying to get this 60-pound box of death and grime out of a corner spot. Like, who even put it here? It angles, and you're trying to put a box shaped thing when there's a anyway, it was just a whole pain. And then I was like, let me help you. And I crawled up there and I was like, holy crap, this is really, really difficult. Now he's showing me the YouTube. He's showing me how the guy got it out. Because here I am to be brute force and be like, I'm going to yank it out. And it kept hitting the corner and I didn't yank it out. And I also like crunched this wire in the back corner in the process, and that really irritates him. My brute force really irritates him when it like minorly damages other things. Look, see, he's telling me, you messed it up. You pinched this wire. Don't you feel bad for him? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I really do feel bad for him. Like, haha, you're married to me. You're stuck forever. Forever. I have your children. You can't leave. But I think he's used to me. It's been 20 something years. He knows. And I try really hard when it's things I know he cares about to be careful and not be me and be gentle. But yeah, cars are just not my thing. So he's going back and forth and he's like, what is it catching on? And we're like, I don't know what it's catching on. And the problem is also that the car is so tall that you have to be up on something to be able to pull up the battery. However, the stupid hood is at an angle, so your head is angled under the hood. It's just a disaster. And the same thing happened when we tried to put the new one in. We're like, how? Of course, we yanked the other one out, but we couldn't totally remember how that happened, so we couldn't figure out how to put this one in. It was just stupid battery, stupid car needing a battery. Ugh. Inconveniencing my life, and for what? Just so I can drive, so I can have transportation? My gosh. But the good thing is, I may crunch a wire, but usually together the two of us can figure out whatever the issue is.
Bro, that dude manhandled this thing out like it was nothing on all time.
Well, if you're making a YouTube, you have to look cool. You can't struggle.
This guy was like, this. I ain't looking stupid. I'm ripping this shit out.
So we've already failed our first YouTube.
Dude, all first YouTubes are fails. That's why you fast forward it, dude. You literally cut to when I'm pulling it and then to when it comes out. Like, don't you know anything about editing the video?
I do.
Oh,
that was
it almost. It almost went in. Dude, I put the battery out again.
No, it's gonna live in there, and I'm gonna buy you a new wrench.
And thus ends the battery replacement saga. And I'll be happy to not do that for another 5,000 years. I'm sure that's how long they last because it's from Costco. Look at me looking lumpy and unglamorous and just making my usual face. You know, when I was young, it was just RBF and I just kind of looked mean and judgy. Now I look depressed. I'm not depressed. I just have lost facial muscle and it's very silly. And I've also gained weight in my face. Let's be real. I'm not trying to just blame purely age. There was some personal choice influencing my appearance as well. But you know what? We said we're going to tackle one thing at a time and we're just trying to get our life in order. And I'm trying to do not a whole life overhaul because that's unsustainable for me. I got to do a little bit, and then once that's, a routine, you add something else. So drink some water, drink a little less Diet Coke, get active when I'm cleaning and doing things. So we'll get there. We'll get there. I definitely didn't get in shape for Spawn 1's graduation. So, the goalpost has moved to Spawn 2's graduation, but that's the good thing about having 3 kids. I have another few years till I have to be ready for Spawn 3's graduation, which is crazy. Crazy. I can't believe that's even kind of on the horizon. That's just, ugh, getting old is crazy. And now I gotta hit the cat outro because I got things to do.